All children are artists. The problem is how to remain an artist once he grows up. That quote from Pablo Picasso is indicative of Benjamin Harjo Jr., a masterful artist whose creative dreams as a child led him to greatness in the art world, both on and off the canvas. Benjamin was born on September 19, 1945 in Clovis, New Mexico, to Benjamin and Viola Harjo. When he was 9, the family moved back to Oklahoma, where Benjamin lived with his grandparents. As a young boy, some of his first loves were cartoons and nature, the latter a product of his Seminole and absentee Shawnee heritage. Benjamin would routinely grab his sketch pad and head for the woods. He never knew what he was going to discover, and that was part of the fun.
I think that one of the distinctions of his art is that he doesn't really know all the time what's going to come out. There's, within him seems like a spirit, and that spirit comes out through his artwork.
Benjamin's love of cartoons led him to the Institute of American Indian Arts in Santa Fe, where his mentor led him down a new path, printmaking. He graduated from the Institute in 1966 and then enrolled at Oklahoma State, a move made possible through a grant from the Bureau of Indian Affairs. At OSU, Benjamin was encouraged to explore his Native American heritage and to tell its stories through his work. It was during those early years that Benjamin honed his skills in perfecting color, contrast, and composition.
Ben is an avid Indian who is a cowboy. He reveres his time at OSU. He learned a lot. It gave him some foundations that he has taken to the extreme. I mean, he took what he learned and expanded it.
Benjamin was drafted and sent to Vietnam in 1969, but returned to OSU 3 years later to complete his degree in fine arts. He moved to Tulsa in 1974 to begin his career as a professional artist. And his big break came from an unlikely source in 1976 when country music promoter Jim Halsey first saw Benjamin's art. Halsey was the manager of guitarist Roy Clark, who took a shine to the uniqueness of Benjamin's work and set up a mobile art gallery to showcase it.
You have to look, there's a bit of whimsy in there. And if you know him and you meet him, he has a twinkle in his eye. So you know he's got a little bit of mischief. And I think he puts it into his paintings sometimes.
In 1979, Benjamin attended an Indian art conference at Oklahoma City University where he met Barbara Isaac. The two bonded almost immediately and were married in 1982. Even from the start, Barbara helped guide Benjamin's career as his manager, booking shows, thus allowing him to focus solely on his work. His art is as complex as the many tools he uses to create it. He toils away under a solitary overhead bulb in his garage, crafting masterpieces from his imagination. They're elusive. Not even Benjamin knows where the piece will take him. He's only along for the journey.
He is a very unpretentious, modest person. They live in a rather modest home. He has a gallery in his garage with a light in the top of the garage. And but out of that garage comes, extremely fantastic pieces of art.
One of Benjamin's most well-known pieces is The Guardian, which depicts two elaborately colored birds keeping watchful eyes on their surroundings. It's one of many pieces that have showcased Benjamin's talent at museums in Oklahoma and across the United States. From the Oklahoma Museum of Natural History to the National Museum of the American Indian at the Smithsonian. Benjamin's works have also been featured in numerous publications, including Oklahoma Today, Native Peoples, and Indian Market magazine.
Ben has been described as the Native American Picasso, and I think that's a particularly apt description. Some of his work is very serious and sad, but much of his work reflects a whimsy, a sense of humor. It's terse and laconic. He is a person of few words, but he can say a lot with a painting.
Benjamin's paintings are as diverse as the artist himself. He's been recognized with awards for both traditional Indian paintings and those portraying a contemporary new direction, thanks in no small part to his uniquely sized paintings.
Painted a lot of very small, almost miniature paintings. They're incredibly detailed and very difficult to do, because he told me one time he had to just take a tip of a feather to create an effect with one of those small paintings, and had to be painted with a magnifying glass.
Benjamin's artistic talent is not limited to canvas. His work with pen and ink produces elaborate geometric pieces that seem almost mathematical in their precision. He's also a skilled woodcarver, which allows his talent to be showcased in all three dimensions. And Benjamin is a crafter of jewelry.
There's a beautiful piece that I managed to acquire two of called Sister of the Sun. And this piece was done in 14 karat gold. And I gave the first one to Justice Sandra Day O'Connor, who also is a great admirer of Ben Harjo's work.
Benjamin's work has also graced the newspapers and wine cellars of many Americans. In 1991, his work was selected to represent Oklahoma in a nationwide advertising campaign by Absolute Vodka in USA Today to raise money to fight AIDS. And Dick and Jeanette Sias asked Benjamin to design the label for their Zinfandel Rosé produced at Julian Vineyards in Carmel Valley, California.
He did a beautiful job on that label. He really did. And he included in that a lot of symbolism. The symbolism is very important in his paintings, and I like to know about that. And he'll tell you, what it all means.
Benjamin is an avid enthusiast and supporter of the next generation of artists who will one day follow his path. He has returned to his alma mater on numerous occasions to teach workshops on printmaking and offer guest lectures.
You just capture that feeling that he really cares about students and about his art.
Benjamin has been honored for his vibrant career by a variety of organizations, including the Red Earth Festival, the Santa Fe Indian Market, the Native American Art Studies Association, and his alma mater.
Ben is probably one of the warmest artists that I've ever known. I mean, his compassion, his warmth inside for people, for the university, for animals, for his Native American heritage. He has these warm feelings towards all of these.
Today, Benjamin and Barbara reside in Oklahoma City, where Benjamin is a self-employed artist. The career born out of a child's sketchpad continues today and will undoubtedly have a lasting impact for generations to come.
But he's an honest artist. That is to say, he does well what he is inspired to do. He's very honest in his work. And as a person, you're proud to be a friend of his.
I think that the people who are in the Hall of Fame, they're in there because they all have legacies that they're leaving behind. Some leave it behind in music, some leave it behind in the theater, some leave it behind as oil companies that they've managed. He's leaving his legacy to us through his artwork.
If a picture's worth 1,000 words, I think a painting's worth 10,000 words. And Ben Harjo has conveyed and advanced what he learned at OSU in canvases and paintings and sketches, in jewelry, that I think has changed the art world. He's been a paradigm shifter. I think OSU must be very proud of that, and I know that Ben is very proud of Oklahoma State University.
A contemporary traditionalist whose transformative works have brought him great distinction and ushered in a new era of American Indian art. Benjamin Harjo Jr., 2012 Oklahoma State University Alumni Hall of Fame.